100,000 letters. Remember, the Torah, it's tripled than that, 300,405 letters. But I want to just ask you as an intelligent question. A person write 100,000 letters. Is it possible that he will make 100, 300, 500 mistakes, a tenth of a percent? You know what? Let's go to the minimum. One letter out of 100,000, it's very normal that a person made a mistake, especially in the Hebrew letters. Why? The Hebrew letters are very similar. The Yud and the Vav, it's exactly the same. The difference is one little dot. If the ink spread by a bit, the letter changed. So now, when the people copy it manually, in time when there is no electric, and they did everything manually, the battery died. Okay, so that gives me more permission to talk now, see?
We don't want to give you any more permission. You do very well without extra permission.
Thank you very much for the compliment. but, Reuven, you were doing it too fast. I'll take care of you later. But the point was that a person make at least one mistake. He make one mistake in the letter Dalet. He made one mistake in the letter Resh. He made one mistake in the letter Lamed. He made one mistake in the letter He. He made it Chet. It's very similar letters. Now, between him and him, there's already 4 differences. And now, when everybody copied from the original text with only one letter mistake, now we have, I don't know, 100, 200 people. There's already 200 different texts. Multiply by 2,000 years. What do you get? Okay.
Now, finally, when you were talking about 150,000 versions, I couldn't figure out what you were talking about. Okay, what Yosef is talking about is that there are 150,000 variants. When you look at textual variants, you see there are over 5,500 ancient Greek manuscripts. And what textual critics have done is to record every variation among these 5,500 texts. And so if you add up all those variations from all those different texts, you come up with something like 150,000. Yosef is correct. But let me just point out, if you divide it by 5,500 to get an idea of the average number of variants per text, you're not talking about that many. And when you recognize you're just talking about a letter, one letter out of a word, what you come down with, even though you might have those variants, is you come down with a text where there's really no question about the text, because we're just talking about little spelling mistakes for the most part.
Spelling that change the meaning of the words in many places.
But you see, if we have 5,500, if we have 5,500,
the book is not
but you see,
anymore.
even if, well, we don't claim that the copies that were made of the originals are divine, but we do claim that originally, the same way with Tanakh, that originally it was all inspired by God. It was all without error. That's the same thing that we claim. And I would agree with you about those number of errors. But if you're talking about the many different words, and I can't tell you how many different words there are in the New Testament, and you're looking at all those different letters, you're really not talking about a whole lot at all when you're talking about 5,500 texts. In fact, the vast majority of textual critics acknowledge that even with these variations, it doesn't change the meaning of the text in any palpable way.
Not according to my sources. According to my sources, and I check the sources in Christian sources. Christians wrote, criticals of the New Testament, not Jews. Because if I will bring you from the rabbis, you say, oh, the rabbis wrote what's good for them. And if you want, I will supply you with those sources. Those 150,000 spelling mistakes, as you call them, change in many places names and dates and complete things from the actual story. Now, if we have one diamond that's worth $100 million, and it's 5-carat, 10-carat diamond, and that's an original one, each one of the people here took out of his pocket one diamond and threw it at me, and my original diamond fell and got mixed with all of them. And they're all an exact copy of the original one, but they're all Russian fake diamonds. It's very hard to tell the difference, if you know what I mean. Even experts sometimes cannot get fooled by it. Now, it's a fact that one of them is an original diamond. It's worth fortune. Since it got mixed with 150,000 diamonds, even if one of them was really given by God, it's worthless because it got lost. Go find it now. So that's what I'm trying to... Wait. Yeah. But you're not letting me finish. I'm just about to finish. You cut me. One more sentence. The point is like this. If a book is divine, just that you know, in Torah, if you take a Sefer Torah, when you take it out, everyone rise. If it falls on the floor, people are fasting. We give a lot of respect. It's the book of God. And I'm sure you would rise also as respect to God as giving the Old Testament. But if one letter is missing, it lost all its holiness. If I take a Torah from here and put it in a suitcase and send it with El Al to Israel, believe me, you lost all your friends. Threw the Torah, they threw it in the luggage. But if I had missing letters in it, it lost its value. Why? If it's divine, it must be perfect. If it's 99.9, it's not divine. It's human. Find me the original New Testament. Can you point to that?
None of us have the original manuscript. We don't have the original Mosaic manuscript.
Sure we do.
No, we don't.
Sure we do.
The oldest text that we have are the Dead Sea Scrolls. We do not have anything older than the
Incorrect.
Scrolls.
Not true. Incorrect.
Well, I can point out a lot of rabbinic scholars who would challenge you on that, and not only challenge you, but they would also say Moses didn't even exist, let alone write it. Now that doesn't mean, now of course I don't go along with that, but just because you can come up with critics, and Yosef mentioned New Testament critics who take issue with the New Testament, you can find Old Testament critics who take issue with the Old Testament and where it came from.
Right. Now, if a person will walk into the room and give you this book, and you hold the book, and he just told you, I received it from God. And you say, how do I know it's from God? He tells, I'll give you a week to test. If you find one mistake in this book, then you know God doesn't make mistakes. So you ask him, what kind of mistakes you're talking about? I mean, he asks you, what kind of mistakes? Say, geographical mistake, mathematical mistake, dates, contradictions. So you may say, okay, give me a week. I'll check it carefully. You open it in the first page, and you find the Twin Towers collapsed in Brooklyn. You have beautiful stories. God just gave him the book, he claimed. And you see, the Twin Towers just collapsed. They give you a date. Maybe the date is correct, whatever. It's irrelevant right now. It collapsed in Brooklyn. You as an intelligent person, and I'm sure you are, I saw it. So I want to ask you a question, but give me an honest answer. Would you waste another second, continue to review the rest of the book, or you feel it's a waste of time? He just told you it's from God. And inside it said the Twin Towers collapsed in Brooklyn. Please answer this. Would you waste a minute after that, or you go to more valuable things to do? Shh.
You want my answer?
An honest answer, please.
And you won't cut me off.
No, I'm waiting.
If I found, I have to admit, if I found in the New Testament that there were contradictions that couldn't be explained, say, from copyist errors or something of that matter, it would seriously undermine my belief in the New Testament. But let me just add this, that I acknowledge, huh? You were afraid I would add something.
No, in America there's always a but.
But things are nuanced. You need buts. That's why they put that in the language. Buts are important.
Take the time for your but. Kadila, let's go.
But what if I find such incredible wisdom in the New Testament? What if, through a relationship with Christ, I find that through this relationship and through His wisdom, I'm miraculously changed? What if? Wait, let me. You said you wouldn't. Wait a second. You said you wouldn't interrupt me. Let me finish. Let me finish. I've been
This person, he doesn't know. I mean, we're talking somebody right now came from the street. Please.
Must I follow your rules exactly? Do I have not a little bit of room to answer it the way that I can?
Give you permission to fool me.
You see, one reason, and I appreciate the fact that Yosef talks about evidence. Thank you. And